Hey everyone, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Colin Gavik. He's a former medical and software sales pro turned small business owner. Now leading the charge at Hand in Hand Promos. After more than a decade in high pressure sales, Colin transitioned into entrepreneurship in 2023 and is on a mission to grow a purpose driven promotional products business. How you doing today, Colin?
Doing pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I had LASIK done Friday, so it's kind of weird to just be able to wake up and see. I'm cooking and there's not stuff getting on my glasses. I don't have to take contacts out and put them back in. So I don't know. It's weird. It's wild. Yeah. So I'm doing great. Been gifted the gift of sight. But yeah, no, I love the conversation that we had a while ago. You're doing really cool things. I haven't had anybody on doing exactly what you're doing. There's a lot of people out there that would benefit from knowing you. But to start off with, where are you calling in from? Where are you located?
So I'm in Franklin, Tennessee, about 30 minutes south of Nashville.
Okay. You been there for a while now, or are you newer to the area?
Yeah, coming up on just about 7 years, I want to say now.
Okay. So you have your own haunts. If you have friends coming into town that have never visited before, where are you going? What are you doing? And what's for dinner?
Oh, let's see. I mean, most people want to go see Broadway. It's the big strip of bars in town, so we tend to do that. If we're just staying local, man, Koi Sushi right down the street. I love it. Moving from LA, I'm like, oh man, are we going to find a good sushi spot in Tennessee? And it is like under 10 minutes from our house. That's where we got to hit.
Yeah, I never heard Tennessee being good for its sushi. There's no local
Not sure
oceans.
it is on the whole, but got a real solid spot.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, not a big sushi fan myself, but yeah, no, I know people love it, and yeah, it's awesome. So awesome. Well, what can you tell us about what you're doing?
Yeah, so at Hand in Hand, we are branded promotional products and apparel. So we run the gamut. We have all your different branded promotional products. Think your pens, coffee mugs, tumblers, the things you put your logo on and give away to people. And then we also do branded apparel. So we tend to work a lot in workwear, your shirts, jackets, hats, all the different things companies give to their employees to wear.
Okay. How'd you get started doing this? Said in the intro, you used to be in sales, but now you're here. What does that journey look like?
Yeah, so I mean, I spent a decade plus in sales, mostly doing medical, a little bit of software. And towards the end, I was really looking to do something on my own. I'm not really the idea person. I don't know. Do you have any familiar with Working Genius?
Not even a little bit.
I think it is an awesome work-based personality test. Basically, it tells you what levels you work best at. Are you the super high level, wondering, coming up with stuff? Are you more the middle, coming alongside people, or are you on the ground, tenacity? It's very interesting. I love it. I'm not even a big personality test person, but I thought it just unlocked so much stuff for me. And basically, I mean, it confirmed I am not the idea guy. I'm not the one to come up with the business. So at that point, after and neither is my wife. So after years of just struggling to come up with something to do on our own, it was like, well, what else could we do? And we went down the rabbit hole of, well, you could acquire a business, something that somebody else came up with and already has functioning. So that just got me looking. Got laid off of a job I was with, which just gave me a lot of free time to really pour into that 100%. And after it took about 9 months of really actively searching, I just happened to connect with a lady who had been doing promotional products for a while. Just decided it was time for something new. She had a healthy company and was looking to sell. And from there, it moved pretty quickly.
What made you decide, promotional products? You said you connected with her, but what about it kind of stood out there? You're like, yeah, I could see us doing this.
It was a couple things. For one, like it kind of brought me back to my really the very beginning of my career, like my last internship in college, just right out of leaving college. I worked with a company who did movie promotions, and we specifically did all the stuff on the ground promoting in colleges. Like we did the screenings for colleges, we did events in college towns at bars, stuff like that. And a lot of what we were doing in putting on these events was giving away promo products. You'd go into a bar, you had your posters, you had your little free things you wanted to give away, your koozies, whatever. And it was just a cool, like on the ground experience seeing what actually works, because there's stuff people are drawn to and they really want, and there's stuff nobody touches. And just kind of seeing how effective that could be in marketing, it always sort of stuck with me even when I was doing other stuff. So then we came around to seeing a promotional products company available for sale. It's like, oh, I actually have some real experience with this and what actually works, and seeing kind of firsthand what people like outside of just, you go to events, people give you stuff, but actually having some real world experience with ordering that and figuring out what works. So that was nice. And then also just looking at it from a sales perspective, I'm like, okay, this is an organization that fits my strengths. I feel like I could learn it. It just felt like a good fit all around.
Yeah, that's awesome. What is it that you love most about what you're doing now?
I think it's really when you find something that a customer actually loves and works. Because we see it a lot on the apparel side, because you just have such immediate feedback as people give stuff to their employees, especially in the trades. We work a lot in the trades. So somebody will give it to their employees who are out in the sun all day or out in the cold all day for the winter orders. And just hearing that their employees actually love what we gave them is, I mean, it's hard to beat that. Just knowing that what we're doing is working and benefiting somebody. And I mean, likewise, whenever our customers get good feedback, especially if it's for their donors or somebody they want to make feel appreciated, just knowing that people have come back to them specifically and been like, I love this. This makes me feel valued. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, I would have never thought about that. But yeah, no, you're right. You're helping the business, but you're also getting that individual. They're loving what you were able to do through them. So that's awesome. Yeah, I can see why that's your favorite. When you're looking at your avatar of your average client, what does that look like, or what are the pain points that somebody might be going through that if they're dealing with X, Y, or Z, you're the person they should talk to?
Yeah. So it generally breaks down to a few categories. You either have somebody who's putting on an event, and they want something that's going to be effective, that's not going to waste their money, and they're not really sure where to turn. Because I mean, you can go on websites and just browse through stuff and try to find something, but it's people who want a little more of, I guess, somebody to consult with, really, because they have an event, or it's a little more high end. They have donors they want to give something to. I mean, these are the people, this is their financial lifeblood, basically. And they want to make sure those people feel appreciated. Or the last one, again, it's people are doing stuff for their employees. It's an underrated aspect of employee retention and keeping your employees happy. If they're going to give them clothes and they're going to give them more, especially a job like construction, they want something that people are actually going to like, that fits well, that feels good.
Okay. What about power partners? What does the average power partner look like, or what are other industries or professionals that you can synergize well with, or collaborate, refer back and forth with?
Oh yeah, event managers is such a huge one. Anybody putting on an event, because they really know what their clients need, and we can really be that. They can help bridge that gap between the client who needs a specific thing amongst all the other things they're doing for event, and we can provide that answer. Likewise, brand managers, or I guess, yeah, brand managers are great, and then actual designers and branding consultants, I guess, would be the right people who are helping a company revamp their logo or their image or what they want to do. Because often the next step for that is, okay, what do we put our logo?
Okay. And then what advice would you give to a new or an aspiring entrepreneur?
I guess don't worry too much about the failures and keep moving forward. I mean, that's been the biggest learning experience here. I mean, and you see it kind of jumping from sales jobs to different industries and stuff, but just what you think is going to work might not. And you have to have patience, and you have to be forgiving, and you have to just be willing to work through those failures. Because, like, I mean, I think when you come up with a good idea, or you come up with something you think is going to work, you're like, cool, I'm going to pour a bunch of time and effort into this, and it's going to be great, and it's going to work. And then you pour a bunch of time and effort and it doesn't. And just the willingness to then push through that and keep trying other stuff, I think, is oftentimes the difference between it working out and not. Like, you just have to keep moving forward until you find the thing that works.
No, absolutely. That's fantastic advice, because that's going to help 100% of the people, because you're going to put time and effort into stuff that doesn't work. No matter what you're doing, you're going to try something. You're going to go off on a direction that you're going to have to go, okay, I need to reevaluate. Do I want to put more time and effort into it and just go through a threshold, or maybe I pivot and use this time and effort here? So fantastic advice that you need to say it louder for people in the backs.
I think it's often more failures than you imagine, at least in my case. Like, you think, all right, well, the first thing didn't work, maybe the second will. And you just got to keep pushing through every single one.
Yeah, and that's the people that succeed. I always say it this way: if you knew for a fact that all you had to do to be successful and get everything you ever wanted was to go fail 10 times at something, how quickly you could do that? You would have it done in an afternoon. right? And that's how it works. It might be 10, it might be 100 failures, but eventually, if you try enough and you put enough effort into it and you do enough, it'll work out every time. So, fantastic advice. What would you say makes a branded product effective?
Ooh, I think a few things. So we typically go down a checklist of just three basic things. Like for one, people actually use it. Like that's the baseline. We have to at least check that off because if it goes in the trash, you've just wasted your money. So like people are gonna use this again. And then beyond that, if it meets that, we want two other things, at least one other thing ideally. Um, it gets your logo in front of other people is the next one. So I mean, it's great if you give somebody a pen, they're probably going to use it in their house, and that's fine. But if you give somebody a t-shirt that looks good and fits right, they're going to wear it out. And then other people are going to see your logo too. Now you've checked off both those. Like the person you gave it to is reminded of it and somebody else is reminded of it. And then the last thing we really want to do is hopefully it sparks a conversation. The example I often go to on that is tumblers. We actually discovered this sort of on accident before I was even in this industry. Is my wife used to work in finance, and life insurance companies, they'll host these conferences and they always give away gifts, and it's usually tumblers. I have like 6 different tumblers in my cabinet right now from life insurance companies, and I just take it wherever I was going with my coffee, and people would always ask me like, "Oh, do you work for Pacific Life or whoever?" And I realized then if you give somebody something that is a little higher value and that they're going to take other places, it's often going to spark a conversation. So if that's got your company logo, or if somebody is taking your company logo on it, now they're actually having conversations with people. So I mean, that's if we could get that one checked off, you've got a really, really effective promotional product.
Absolutely. Okay. How can branded promotional products help small businesses grow?
Yeah, I think it's partially through that. It's a way, it's just a different way to get your logo out there. It's one piece of the marketing pie. Like I'm assuming you're doing, if you have a small business, you're probably trying a few different things to get your logo and get your name out there. And maybe that's paid ads, maybe that's SEO. It's just another way to make sure that your company is visible, really. And that can be visible with other people or it's visible with your ideal customers. We occasionally hear from people that when the time comes when something breaks, their AC or whatever, and they're like, well, who do we call? And they realize there's a name on the pen they've been using for the past 2 years. Like that's going to be the company they call. So it's a way to make sure that your logo and your brand is in front of people.
Absolutely. What advice would you give to someone thinking about acquiring a business instead of starting one from scratch?
I would say again, partially persistence is key, because you'll start going through these businesses and you'll realize very quickly when you're looking at financials that the reason most businesses are for sale is because they're not doing well. And I mean, it's a big enough financial risk. You don't want to do that. So just having the persistence to continue to keep looking and ask for financials, and you're going to sign 150 different NDAs before you're done, and just keep going through that and keep pushing through until you actually find something of value, um, is a huge key. And then also be specific on what you're looking for and what you want, because again, it's a financial risk. So if something's not a good fit for your skill set, you can kind of you can push through that barrier more than you can with a job. If you don't have the skills for a job, chances are you're not getting hired. You might not even get an interview. But if you don't have the skills for a business, you could theoretically throw money at it and get it anyway. So be very specific on what you're good at and what you're looking at, and don't be willing to bend just because of impatience. Because it does get hard and it gets frustrating to look at a lot of stuff that's not very good. And there's this impulse the first time you see something good is, I want to go for that. Don't give in to that. Almost overly critical. Make sure you find something that's a really good fit.
Absolutely. That's good advice for a lot of things in your life too, whether it be buying a house, choosing a partner, whatever it is. It's
Yes.
just fantastic advice. Be overly critical. Well, to an extent. Anyway, awesome. So why you? What sets you apart from everybody else out there doing something similar?
Yeah, we give a personalized touch. We really like to consult with people on this stuff. What I always say is we excel at the ends of the process. Like when it comes to manufacturing, putting your actual logo on something, the screen printing, the embroidery, whatever it may be, we're good at it. But there's nothing really that separates us and other companies that are good at it. There's just good basic practices. We will get you a good product. Oftentimes, we're using the exact same manufacturer that everybody else is, but where we excel are on the ends. Like, we will actually take the time to consult with you and come up with the right product, something that actually fits your purpose. And that could mean samples a lot of the time. Like, we will eat the cost on that. We will get you samples, whether it's just like we just did a t-shirt order for a company and they weren't sure what shirts they wanted to put their employees in, which long sleeve. So we sent them a bunch of free samples. We will often do branded samples as well. And we will go back and forth. We'll do as many mock-ups. We'll take as much time as we have to make sure that what you're ordering is actually the right fit. And we'll do it for the same price as if you just go on a website and buy it. And then on the back end, we try to solve problems. Most issues happen during shipping, occasionally during manufacturing, but mostly during shipping. So, I mean, we'll track the process through the entire way. If something's going wrong in shipping, we'll spend our day on the phone with FedEx so you don't have to. Likewise, if there is a mistake, we'll fix it. If for whatever reason something came out with a misprint or something's wrong, we'll handle it quickly so you don't have to spend your time and money doing it.
Absolutely. I know this whole industry and everything that you know is way bigger than what we can talk about in 20 minutes. But in general, is there anything that I missed or that I failed to ask that you wanted to add?
I actually don't think so. I could probably take that time to pitch something else or to come up with something, but I actually think we really covered most of the basics.
Okay, awesome. Well, for those that have more questions that, kind of want to dig a little bit deeper into some of this, what's the best way they get a hold of you? How can they find you?
Yeah, email's great. I think you're going to have the links to all this. It's Colin at handinhandpromos.com. Likewise, you can find me on LinkedIn, either of those.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm going to put all that in the show notes so it's super easy to find. For one, I'm the kind of person that would misspell hand in hand. So I'm going to be copying and pasting it over, but perfect. If anybody would like to get a hold of Colin, absolutely do it. He's a wealth of knowledge. They're doing awesome things. You see it all the time. You'll go to shows and you kind of don't even think about it until it's the red car syndrome, until you kind of need it. And then you start seeing it everywhere. And being able to deal with experts that are able to kind of help you through that. So you're not just starting from zero, you're able to take all the experience and all the people they've been able to help and make sure you're doing it the right way. It's absolutely worth having the conversation and looking into. But if anybody would like to get a hold of me, you can find me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, and connect with our growing community of awesome people like Colin. If you or somebody you know would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on the website. But thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you taking the time and kind of high leveling all this for us, because like I said, it's a lot bigger area than a lot of us kind of realize. So again, thanks so much. Let's all go have an awesome day and grow our circles. All right.